been a wonderful ride for me. From a playing standpoint, there's nothing else left to do.
There is your dagger. The Packers are playoff bound.
It looks good. It is. Colts win. Colts win.
Seahawks hanging another banner in the rafters.
Kept it intercepted. Troy Polamalu.
Touchdown, Tampa Bay.
Down to 12. Let's bring it on.
Hi, everybody, and welcome into another edition of NFL Primetime, the first in 2011. Glad you are here with us. Trey Wingo alongside Merrill Hodge and Trent Dilfer. Holidays go well?
Awesome.
Yeah?
I'm just glad I'm still here.
There you go. Well, see me after the show. I'm kidding. It's an honest one.
That's a hopeful one.
So here's what we have. The regular season is now behind us. The postseason lies in front of us. But to get there, you had to get through Week 17. And on the NFC side, there were so many playoff possibilities out there. Green Bay, the simplest way to make sure they're around for the second season. Win against the Bears, and they move on. And that's where we start at Lambeau Field with Aaron Rodgers. Third quarter, Packers down 3-0. It's 1st and 10, and Rodgers looking left, and it's a perfect throw to Charles Tillman. Only one problem, Trent Dilfer. He plays for the opposing Chicago Bears.
You don't see Aaron make many throws like this. When you have that much confidence in your arm, you try to sometimes squeeze it in little spots that you shouldn't.
Yeah, and he continues to run around. And again, going back to the throw, it was a very rare mistake.
Yeah, it really was. Aaron's a guy that typically doesn't force the ball off rhythm down the football field. Looks like he thought Greg Jennings was going to come underneath that. Greg Jennings drifted upfield.
Well, that was a big-time catch.
Nice play, nice play by Tillman. Okay, so now Jay Cutler, and well, okay, you're going to do that to me. We're going to do it to your quarterback. That's Charlie Peppra. Packers get the ball right back, will be forced to punt. Later in the third, it's still 3-0. Rodgers to Greg Jennings. Boy, how many times have these two been the home run for Green Bay all season inside the 5? 2 plays later, Rodgers fakes the QB sneak. Oh, trickeration to Brandon Jackson. You can't fumble the ball. They catch up to you.
Very unorthodox, boy. That's
Mike McCarthy not happy.
I like the play call. It's got to be executed.
That is correct. And then this play executed well by Tommy Harris, sacking Aaron Rodgers. Settled for a field goal. They do. Green Bay it up at 3. Fourth quarter. Did I say something about Greg Jennings being a home run threat?
Yeah. You did.
There it is.
Key on that one. Time for Rodgers to start to the left, watch the coverage change, and then hope in that window.
And that, as they say, leads to this. Donald Lee, touchdown, and the Pack, knowing they've got to win, go up by 7, 10-3. So now it's up to that Packers defense, and they were terrific all game long. Eric Walden working hard, comes up and takes Cutler down. A lot of time to get there, though. And that was sort of a recurring theme here. Look at this corner blitz by Charles Woodson.
Yeah, and Eric Walden's a key here, too. He's a stand-up guy, plays better in a 2-point stance, creates the edge, allows the corner Woodson to come off of it, get to Jay Cutler. Great scheme by Dom Capers, utilizing his personnel in the right way.
And the wingspan of Woodson. You will not pass around me. Next play, it's 3rd and 17. This is not slow. This is Clay Matthews, and he's really quick.
Yeah. Clay Matthews been working with the whole Kevin Green on getting to the quarterback. Using a little dip and a little slide and a little slither move right there. Kevin Green was good at it.
Little Dwight Freeney.
Little slither move, baby.
Cutler sacked 6 times by the Packers D. Final drive, they're trying to mount a comeback. Cutler, well, he's game, comes up and gets the first down. Now there's under a minute to play. It's 3rd and 10 for the Bears. Cutler, trying to make something happen, stands in the pocket and delivers a strike to Devin Hester, and he's down for the first down. So it's this, 20 seconds to play, 2nd and 10 at the 32. Jay Cutler, I got to find me a touchdown. Oh, but he sails it over and behind Hester, and that's Nick Collins, and that is the celebratory dagger for Green Bay.
They had the right play dialed up to Devin Hester. Jay Cutler just loses it a little high, costly mistake at a huge moment in the game.
And the Packers are into the playoffs, 10-3. The Bears earlier, of course, had locked down the 2 seed. You know, we talked so much about the Green Bay Packers going into the season. They had so many injuries. Most of that talk, Trent, was around the offense and the things that Aaron Rodgers could do. Once again on Sunday, the Packers defense held a team to single digits. sixth time this year, and they really did it with a variety of looks.
They do, and Dom Capers, one of the best defensive coordinators in this league, the defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers, and they are dialing up at the right time. And one of the things the Green Bay Packers do, they're very fundamentally sound in their blitz packages, but they create tremendous brain clutter for the opposing offense. You look at here, they're showing a safety blitz off the side, and A.J. Hawk kind of creeps in the middle. Why is this important? When we review this, you're going to see the Chicago Bears occupy 2 blockers on a safety and forget about the interior rush by A.J. Hawk. This is a cardinal sin for offensive lines, but this is what the Packers do to you. They get space in your brain. Clay Matthews looking like he's going to blitz. He doesn't. They come off the other edge with a wide outside loop by Walden, and then Woodson inside of it. Just enough hesitation by the Bears backfield to not pick it up. Merrill, as you know as well as anybody, if you can create that brain clutter for the offense, they're going to play slower. When they play slower, they're not going to execute.
Renting space in players' minds.
Amen.
When they start thinking, you're so right. You slow down. You can't instinctively play the game. And that is where I think is going to be the most critical matchup of the Philadelphia Eagle offense against this Packer defense. The Eagles have struggled. I mean, struggled, especially the last 3 weeks, not just Mike Vick, but the offensive line and the running backs in picking up pressures. The Giants handled them for 3.5 quarters. Now, here's a great example of what I'm talking about that gets masked. The Giants are bringing 7. Okay, let's snap the ball. The Eagles keep 6 in. So somebody's going to be free. Now, the first problem goes on the tackle. He should be working inside to out. That's still going to leave somebody free. So now the burden falls on Michael Vick and the wide receivers. That ball's got to come out. But what happens? Houdini. He makes somebody miss. It's amazing. It's an amazing play. Must-see TV. They win the game. We don't even talk that much about it. Go to the Minnesota game. The back in the backfield has 1 to 2. The Minnesota Vikings at the snap of the ball, they bring both. Back does a great job, picks up 1. Well, 2 is still free. Now the burden falls on Vick and the wide receivers. The ball must come out. And there is too many problems, too many issues like this in the last 3 weeks. This is on tape. The Green Bay Packers will look at this, and they will bring these similar pressures. And we talk about renting space in a quarterback's mind. You rent space in the offensive line's mind, and the running back's mind, and the wide receiver's mind, and then you have issues. The real challenge is going to come down to Andy Reid, Marty Morningwood, the offensive coordinator, doing something to condense this offense a little bit. If people aren't responding in the way they should, like the hot reads and picking up, well, you better do something to help them.
Dumb it down.
Or you're going to see this.
Yeah.
Or pull it in, condense the offense, move it back so you don't have to. If you're not hitting the hots and people are stinging you, you better find a way to make that not happen. That's usually keep more people in.
And by the way, the Packers love this idea that they've held the opponents to single digits 6 times. The last 3 times they've done that, 1962, 1966, and 1996. They all happened to win the NFL championship twice of those times.
Research, my brother.
That was the Super Bowl. More on the Packers and Eagles matchup a little later on in the show. Meanwhile, first Monday after the season, coaches get fired. Eric Mangini out in Cleveland after 2 seasons where he went 10-22, 5-11 both of those years. The highlight of this year was beating the Pats. As for Mike Holmgren, could he now coach there?
Having said that, I am also a coach. I'll always be a coach. Heck, the people in the building call me coach. So to tell you right now that I would never coach again, whether it's here or any place, I probably wouldn't be honest. You know that, I know that. But as of right now, I am the president of the Cleveland Browns, and my job is to find the best coach available, the right coach available for this job.
Mort joins us now. Mort, he could have really diffused that issue. Instead, it seems like he went out of his way to really put himself out there and say, yeah, right now I'm the president, but pretty soon I could be hiring myself as the next head coach. How likely is that?
I'm going to say it's less than 50%. What I've heard is that Mike Holmgren with his general manager, Tom Heckert, want to go through a process. Process includes hiring guys who are philosophically on the same page as them. We know that's that Bill Walsh system in terms of how the organization is set up. So, yes, they're going to talk to Marty Morningwig of the Philadelphia Eagles, their offensive coordinator. They actually have asked permission to speak with Perry Fuel, the Giants' defensive coordinator. John Gruden, definitely, I think they're kicking the tires around on that one. And as they go through the process, if Mike doesn't like who he's looking at as a potential head coach, then I would say Randy Lerner, in fact, I know this, the owner of the Browns wants Mike Holmgren to be the coach. but Mike said he probably won't be in this case.
Well, I would love that press conference if the president would then introduce the next head coach. Let me introduce myself, Mike Holmgren, as the next head coach.
Would be good.
That would be theater. Meanwhile, it's been pretty stable theater in Tennessee/Houston for Jeff Fisher all these years. Obviously, it didn't end well. There was the blow-up between Coach Fisher and Vince Young. Bud Adams has a decision to make. What are you hearing about that?
Well, Bud Adams lives in Houston. His office is in Houston. He's meeting with Mike Reinfeld, the general manager, and Steve Underwood, the senior executive vice president of the Titans. They are in Jeff Fisher's corner, whereas we know that Bud Adams is uncertain. Jeff's been there 16 full years as head coach, plus a little bit as the interim coach. He's been wildly successful. Jeff Fisher wants one thing right now. He wants to win a Super Bowl championship. He came that close. And he believes, like most coaches believe, you got to have the quarterback. And we know there's not a trust right now between Jeff Fisher and the quarterback Vince Young. I think we'll know something within 24 hours or so.
Yeah, 1 yard short of overtime in Super Bowl 34 against the St. Louis Rams. All right, Jack Del Rio's been in Jacksonville for a while, but more second straight year, a lot of consecutive losses down the stretch of the season, and they fall short of the playoffs. How secure is he?
Well, you know, there's a little buzz going on because his press conference was delayed because he was meeting with owner Wayne Weaver down in Jacksonville. But they came out of that, and I'm told by a team official that, you know, listen, Weaver is tired of mediocrity. You know, and 8-8 is that, you know, 500. Wayne Weaver told me last year he wants to be playing in January. But they did lose Maurice Jones-Drew and David Garrard for their final 2 games, and they are building a young team, and that process is going to continue forward with Jack Del Rio as coach in 2011.
All right, and that leads us now to Tony Sperano, another Florida team. Listen, high expectations for this squad. They disappointed at home, and then the way they ended the season in New England, how much might that affect his job status?
I think the way they ended the season Sunday in New England was the one that caught everybody off guard, because I was told he was more safe than not safe going into that game. This afternoon, you know, the owner, Steve Ross, the CEO, Michael D., is meeting with Jeff Ireland, the general manager, and Tony Sperano, the head coach. Now listen, Tony's 2 games over 500. It's only 3 years. You can talk about the next best thing. You can talk about marketing and selling tickets, but go look at every coach in the playoffs, and you tell me whether that guy was a big name or not. And I include Bill Belichick, who was the scourge of Cleveland. Andy Reid wasn't even a coordinator. Mike Smith of Atlanta. Just go look at those playoff teams and see who those head coaches were. So I think what they're trying to sell them on is, what's your plan on fixing this thing, and how do we find a quarterback? Because that is a big question in Miami, but we do not have clear-cut answer yet on Sperano's future.
Lots to be decided in Miami and other places around the league in terms of coaching. All right, Mort, thanks. We appreciate it. When we continue here on NFL Primetime, hey, Trent Merrill, remember like a month ago when the Colts were on the ropes?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, they're not really on the ropes anymore.
Well, they're rope-a-doping.
Yeah. You guys remember like a month ago when the New England Patriots were steamrolling everybody in the NFL?
That was so a month ago.
Yeah, but you know what? They're still doing that as they head into the postseason. We'll show you exactly what they did to Tony Sperano. And remember a month ago when the NFC West was really not great?
Yeah, that hasn't changed. Right?
Yeah, that's pretty much the same as well, although we do have a winner. Although technically, maybe not really.
With College Pass on ESPN Player, you just can't miss hundreds of live college basketball games and live college football, including the Bowl Championship Series and the BCS National Championship game. Plus, you can pause and rewind the action, so you never miss a move of your favorite team. Wow. It's all live, all on demand, and all for just $14.99 a month. Unbelievable! College Pass on ESPN Player. Sign up now.
What is this guy doing?
I can't get through the gate. The gate is narrow.
Unbelievable.
All right, hey, what do you want me to do? Just back up. I'm stuck.
Sports Center, weekdays at 0700 CET on ESPN America.
ESPN America Moments.
3rd down and 6. Favre fires downfield. Touchdown! Basante Shanko!
I mean, Adrian Wilson does everything. He stride for stride. He gets his head around and everything. But the ball is just put in a perfect spot by Brett Favre.
One last time, ladies and gentlemen, NFC westbound and down. Woohoo! It went down to the wire by rule, Trent. Someone had to win the division.
Now that I'm not sure is a good rule.
Rams and Seahawks. No Matthew Hasselbeck.
Thing you said.
Charlie Whitehurst will start, and he started off on fire to Reuvel Martin for a gain of 61 yards, but the play design and execution, Trent, was spectacular.
It really was, and the big concern with any quarterback playing his first big game is poise. Look at the poise here. He's facing a zone dog. Uses his eyes to get the corner to bite. Little pump fake, gets the safety over the top, biting the vertical, then relocates the vertical, finds him, makes the big play. Nice play by Charlie Whitehurst.
Matthew Hasselbeck says, I approve of this message. Moments later, Whitehurst, another great play, rolls right, throws back left, and Mike Williams, boy, what a resurgence his career has been this year. 7-0 Seahawks on the touchdown. Pretty much that's all they needed.
Game winner.
Sam Bradford and company, it was check down Charlie all day. It's 3rd and 7. It was like a volleyball match, Trent, early on. It was all these batted passes. It was Jordan Babineau here, Craig Terrell now.
Very condensed offense. When defense coordinators know that, they're going to teach those defensive linemen, linebackers to get your hands up in the air, bat down those intermediate to short throws.
So that means, Merrill, you got to try and do something to loosen up things. And here they try and get something done, throwing it to the sidelines, and LaRon Robinson ruled out of.
Well, you move the pocket, but you do condense your throwing lanes by doing that. And one thing Bradford's very good at, extremely accurate.
Now, they didn't challenge this. It was ruled out of bounds. You know, it was a 3rd down. That was a big play. Boy. Could have tied the game, though. Why he picked that right foot up so fast is another question. They settled for a field goal, so it's 7-3. Let's go to the 4th quarter. Remember what I said, Merrill? They got to make plays. They got to do something.
They got to push it down the field is what you're trying to tell me.
And
they create the matchup and the design. It's there, baby.
Denario Alexander right there, right through his hands.
Big plays, big games, and those big moments, you have to make those catches.
Now, Sam, this is the throw he probably wants back here. Intercepted by Will Herring. He was struggling for rhythm all night long. So under a minute to play, they're down 10, and Sam absolutely gets rocked by Raheem Brock, and that will do it. The Seahawks at 7-9 win the NFC West. They host a playoff game, beating the Rams 16-6. So let's just put things in perspective. This is what they are. 7-9, 2 games under 500, in division winner, hosting a playoff game. 2 10-6 teams in the same conference did not make it, Giants and Bucks. Other things, the Chargers, who are only the 5th team since the 1970 AFL-NFL merger to be #1 offense and #1 defense, did not make the playoffs. That's the first one of those teams that's ever failed to meet that criteria. And the Raiders, they went unbeaten in their division, swept the AFC West, 6-0, also not in the postseason. Let's go back to those 10-win teams. The Giants are not in. Now would be a good time to remind you that on November 7th in Seattle, the Giants whooped up on Seattle 41-7, rolling up 487 yards of total offense in the process. The Tampa Bay Bucks were the other 10-win team in the NFC that did not get in. We should point out that on December 26th, the Bucks took them down 38-15. Josh Freeman threw a career-high 5 touchdown passes, and LeGarrette Blount ran for a career-high 164 yards. So they didn't get in, but the winner of the NFC West did. The NFC West teams combined, point differential minus 322. Amazingly, that's only the 2nd worst point differential for any division since the merger.
Yeah.
2008, NFC West was worst. The NFC West actually accounts for the 4 worst point differentials since the merger in 1970. And after that, we seamlessly move on to the Titans and the Colts. Indy needs to win. They get a Jacksonville loss, and they were playing at the same time. And for a lot of this game, Jason McCourty, Trent, did a great job dealing with Pierre Garçon.
Yeah, did a nice job defending him well, but Peyton was just going to continue to take shots at Pierre Garçon.
Certainly did. Colts would settle for a field goal there. Once again, it's McCourty and Garçon, and once again, Peyton trying to exploit this matchup. And one more time, that's great defense by McCourty. There was nowhere for Garçon to get that ball. In fact, you could have made the case there that was offensive pass interference. But Merrill, once, twice, 3rd time the charm.
You know, a lot of times the Colts have struggled with man-to-man coverage, but you keep on chipping away at it, Garçon eventually wins one.
There's no defense for what, Trent?
Perfect throw. I was hoping you were going there. That throw pulls Garçon away from McCourty, creates the touchdown.
Colts took a 20-13 lead. Ladies and gentlemen, vintage footage. A Randy Moss catch. Now, they ruled it was a catch, and the Colts would challenge it. This was upheld. Did you see anything that, I mean, can you see either one of the feet there?
I
didn't see either one.
Yeah.
Tremendous eyesight by the replay.
So it's very strange. By the way, that was Moss's first catch since week 13. Later on that drive, Chris Johnson, who was held to 39 yards on 20 carries by the Colts run defense, does get in for the touchdown there to tie it at 20. Tied at 20, Colts with the ball. Looks like they have a chance to set up a game-winning field goal, but no! Dominique Rhodes, in his third reincarnation with the Colts, fumbles. Michael Griffin comes back with it. Oh, so now the Colts have got over it. Wait a minute! Kerry Collins can't get the snap. It's a fumble recovered by Robert Mathis.
You work on this day one. There's really no excuse or explanation for that.
So you have second life. Peyton Manning knows all I've got to do is get Adam Vinatieri in range and we're going to win. We're so sure that's going to happen. Hey, they go ahead. Now let's show you how it happened, actually. Here is the Colts' final drive that led up to the celebration by arguably the greatest kicker in the history of the NFL. 1:20 to play, 2nd and 10. Manning with the back shoulder throw to Blair White, and that is a first down. Under 30 seconds left, 2nd and 4 from the Titans 38, and it's Jacob Tamme picking up more yardage. Colts into field goal range, and now with 3 seconds left, why wait any longer? Adam Vinatieri's only missed one kick at home in Indianapolis in his career. Bang, right there. Colts win it 23-20. By the way, by doing so, they tie the Cowboys for the longest streak of consecutive postseason appearances, 9 straight years. So they won their last 4 games. They've held their last few opponents with their run defense. The Titans, the Jaguars, the Raiders, all good running teams, and they have Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Be for their first-round matchup against the Jets.
I don't think very, and here's why. You know who you are as a football team. And yes, they've fixed some of the leaks, so to speak, of their football team. But if you look at this football team as a whole, their offensive line is very average. Their receiving core, including their tight ends, is beat up and minimally damaging as a group. Defensively, they have to put all their chips into one area, either stopping the run or stopping the pass. I understand Peyton Manning cures a lot of ills, but even Peyton Manning is throwing 17 interceptions this year. I don't think this is a team that should have any confidence going into the playoffs.
Well, I mean, I don't know about any confidence, but I would agree it's not the well-oiled machine that we're accustomed to watching, you know, where they can execute, they create matchups, they're deadly, they're dead on, their precision is perfect. But I think they should be a little more confident. I think they will be a little more confident than a lot of people, Trent is giving them credit for. The thing that I actually do like about the Colts, thing they're getting better at, when they lost Gary Brackett, their middle linebacker, that's the equivalent of losing Peyton Manning on offense. What he does, and Trey mentioned their run defense, he is really responsible for that. He is outstanding against the run. And when you have Mathis and Freeney, they just command respect. You got to play a certain way, and you got to use certain formations just to take care of them. And they're not just let's rush the quarterback. They do a lot of stunts, twists, and other pressures that I think will give the Jets problems. Not like when you look at the last matchup in the playoffs, the thing that the Jets were able to do that really neutralized that, they had a power running attack that was big time. It was utilized. Jets don't have that right now.
They're still a top 3 or 4, but it's not the same as it was last year when they were mashing.
Not the same fearful running attack that they had in the past.
The Colts struggled on defense with any offense that's balanced. It can come at them with more than just one way. And I think the Jets will be able to do that in the playoffs. Throw a little pass early, run it late.
You guys mentioned matchups. Peyton Manning against a Rex Ryan defense since 2005, pretty good. Whether in Baltimore or with the Jets, he's 5-1 against Rex Ryan defenses. 12 touchdowns, 2 picks, and 2-0 in postseason play. Once with the Ravens. We continue on primetime. Early on Sunday, the Steelers left little doubt as to who the number 2 seed would be in the AFC. And for about 8 weeks, the Patriots had made it pretty clear who the number 1 seed was going to be going into the AFC and perhaps in the entire postseason. We'll look at what they did to Miami next.
ESPN America is kicking off the new year with live coverage of every BCS bowl game. BCS Bowl Week continues tonight. Check espnamerica.com for times in your area.
ESPN America Moments.
35 play action. The crosser, Bo wide open. He's going to the end zone.
Welcome to the new HD world of PTI, boys and girls. I like HD so much, I wore a tie again. I like it so much that I wore pants again. And may I say, it's about time. Today is World Smile Day, but I got something that'll wipe that smile right off your face. Bam! Told you.
Don't miss Pardon the Interruption, weekdays on ESPN America. The future stars of the NBA are only on ESPN America. Catch all the best college hoops from across the pond. All the conferences from the SEC to the ACC. From the Big 12 to the Big East. We've got it covered. NCAA basketball all season long, live on ESPN America.
Primetime rolls on with the Dolphins in New England taking on the Patriots. Patriots nothing to play for. They've already wrapped up everything.
What do you mean they got nothing to play for? They got to win, baby.
No, in terms of what was possible on the line. You always have to play for pride, professionalism, and film. Okay? Chad Henne will not like this film. Picked up by Devin McCourty. His 7th interception of the season. The rookie has played great. Next Patriots possession. Speaking of rookies, Tom Brady, not a rookie. Rob Gronkowski, a rookie. His 10th touchdown grab. Pats up 7-0. Later in the first, Danny Woodhead. Well, this is rare. This is the first turnover that the Patriots have had since Week 9 against the Browns. They've gone 7 straight games without a turnover. Danny Woodhead left the game with a head injury. 40 seconds left in the second quarter. Patriots already up 17-0. They're punting to Julian Edelman, and that's Julian Edelman of the Foxborough Edelmans. Makes 2 guys miss, and goodbye. See you later. You're not going to get him. 94 yards for the score, the longest punt return in New England history. The Pats are rolling 24-0. Third quarter, Brady still in the game. He looks for Algie Crumpler. Algernon Darius Crumpler, son of Carl Lester Crumpler, brother of Carl Lester Crumpler Jr. They go up 31-0. Brady, 36 touchdown passes, 4 picks, 335 without an interception. Did I see a Brian Hoyer sighting to Brandon Tate? Trent, that's a primetime dime.
It is a primetime dime. Going a little off the radar here with a backup quarterback, but Brian Hoyer comes in, little play action, watch this, takes it right in the chin and delivers the primetime dime. Way to go, Brian Hoyer. By the way, a lot of coaches out there would like to have Brian Hoyer as their starting quarterback one day.
Yeah, Tom's like, don't do that enough. I run this show. Fourth quarter, Patriots still up 38-0. And the law firm with 10 yards. Ben Jarvis Green Ellis gets his 1,000-yard season. Patriots go on to win 38-7. Bill Belichick's 4th season with at least 14 wins. So here are the matchups in the AFC. The Jets had more wins than the Colts, but play at the same venue where their season ended a year ago, the Jets season, that is. The Ravens with 3 road playoff wins under John Harbaugh, including one in Foxborough last year. Head where the Chiefs will be looking for their first playoff win since 1993 when somebody named Joe Montana was the Kansas City quarterback. All right, let's talk about this Patriots team. They've been arguably the best team in football for a while now. One of the reasons they've been able to do that, they don't turn the ball over. The turnover differential for the team, plus 28. Second best in the league, plus 17, the Pittsburgh Steelers. But can they count on that continuing in the playoffs?
I don't know if you can count on it or not, but I do think people need to understand the fine line between not throwing an interception and throwing an interception. Tom Brady's as good as anybody we've ever seen protecting the football, but you're just a little bit away, a tip ball here, a tip ball there from throwing some interceptions. And you go back to this season, and he has had, just in the last few weeks, a couple that could have been picked. Look at Urlacher drop one there. Look at one down here in the red zone. Ball deflected up. Safety should make the play and doesn't. You go to the Green Bay Packers game, Tom Brady, everything looks cool and easy. Woodson undercuts it, should have caught it. I'm not saying he's gonna throw interceptions, but well-coached defenses in the playoffs with that intermediate short passing game, Merrill, we talk about this all the time. They're gonna train their players to get their hands up, to undercut those intermediate routes. Don't be shocked if you see Brady turn the ball over a couple times.
No, that's what you're saying. They're going to throw interceptions. You know, this is obviously, there's very few on this team, very few flaws. And based on how you are in the regular season is what you take into the playoffs. The only real concern that I would see for the New England Patriots, they lost 2 games, one to the Jets, one to the Cleveland Browns. And then they had a game where, you know, there were some fortunate things that went their way against the Green Bay Packers. There's something in common with those 3 teams. They play a 3-4. They're very good at disguising things, bringing pressures, have a multitude of looks. Well, they're going to play probably, you know, you got Pittsburgh, you got Kansas City, you got Baltimore, you got the Jets. I mean, a host of teams in this playoffs that play a 3-4, have that similar style. And when the offensive line, I will put this more on the offensive line, have had their issues, the Patriots haven't won, and they've struggled offensively.
You bring up a great point. The teams the Patriots have struggled with, coaches with familiarity to the system. The Kansas City Chiefs, if they can get past this first round, are sitting there with Romeo Crennel lurking.
And just, you know, you throw Dick LeBeau, who's the defensive coordinator in Pittsburgh, you know, Dom Capers worked together. They created, you know, Blitzburg, the zone blitz. They created it with Bill Cowher and Marvin Lewis. So, you know, there's a lot of information already been put on a tape that they will use for the playoffs.
All that's fair, but we said these same questions about the New Orleans Saints last year going into the postseason. Could they keep getting the turnovers? They kept getting the turnovers. We'll see if New England can keep avoiding the turnovers in a couple of weeks. When we continue here on NFL Primetime, Jimmy Clausen and the Panthers gave what we might expect to be the resistance level for the Atlanta Falcons as the Falcons were trying to lock down home field throughout the NFC. And we believe there will finally be no more memories for Brett Favre in the NFL. A look back.
Brett's kind of like aloha. It's hello, goodbye, it's all one thing. I mean, you know, he is. He's like eternal.
In rugby, you can guarantee there'll be blood, sweat, but no tears. And now you can also guarantee there's one website that's in the thick of it with big stories, highlights, news and views. ESPNScrum.com. Total rugby guaranteed.
People talking about Buffalo as much, but every year they're there. The Sabres might not be the flashiest team, but they get the job done. When you have a goalie like Ryan Miller in there, I mean, he gives you a chance to win every night.
Yeah, I know they're underrated, but I'm just not convinced that they can do it again this year.
I think you're selling them short. Let me remind you, Buffalo did win their division last year, and all the key pieces are coming back. Vanek, Myers, Derek Roy.
Look, I'll agree the Sabres are a solid, resilient team, but do you think that they're a Stanley Cup contender?
ESPN America Moments.
On 3rd down. Roethlisberger out of the pocket. He's got plenty of room. Roethlisberger cuts it upfield. Diving. He's in. Touchdown, Steelers. 16 yards. The full extension for the score.
What an effort. Puts his left hand down to maintain his balance and then stretches out all 6'5" to get in the end zone.
Third and 26 with 43 seconds remaining before the half.
Breeze throws it downfield into a crowd, and that is going to be intercepted. Coming up with it is Kareem Moore.
Moving to his left. Ball stolen away.
Beecham stole the ball.
Robert Beecham takes it, and he's going to go all the way for a touchdown.
My goodness. Robert Beecham finds a new way of getting into the end zone.
What a freaky play.
Unbelievable.
Tuesday night on ESPN, Terrell Pryor and the 6th-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes seek their first bowl win against an SEC team when they face Ryan Mallett and the Arkansas Razorbacks. It's the All-State Sugar Bowl Tuesday night. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern on ESPN. Well, the road to the Super Bowl in the NFC will go through Atlanta. Matt Ryan and company, all they needed to do was beat the Carolina Panthers for that to happen at home, and Tony Gonzalez is going to help Matt Ryan as he latches onto the 6-yard touchdown. He ties Don Maynard for 10th all-time receiving touchdown list. Falcons up 7-0. Second quarter, look at this play by Roddy White. Gets in there and puts the ball on the right side of the pylon, which is actually the left side. And the Falcons are rolling at this point. And then Eric Weems. Eric Weems is going to do something that Deion Sanders never did in Atlanta. Tim Dwight never did in Atlanta. This is a punt return, 55 yards to the house. He's the first Falcon ever with a punt return and a kick return for a touchdown in the same season. Nice block from Eric Coleman.
Trivia question.
There you go. And then Michael Turner trying to do what he can do. Now, he fumbled in that Monday night loss to the Saints. He also fumbled earlier in this game, both on the goal line, but gets in here. And then, you know, when you win the division and you have everything and you want to get the #1 seed, you take the owner and you ruin a $5,000 suit. Falcons win it 31-10. Best part about that, the quarterback, Matt Ryan, came up afterwards and said it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Smartest guy on the field.
There you go. Here are the NFC matchups.
Oh, here we
Saints
go.
will be heavily favored against the Seahawks team that became the first division champion in NFL history with a losing record. In Sunday's game, the Packers will be seeking their first road playoff win since the '97 NFC Championship game in San Francisco. The Eagles have only dropped one playoff opener in 8 tries under Andy Reid, but that came last season in Dallas. Meanwhile, in Detroit, it was what we believe the end of an era. Brett Favre, inactive, did not play in the Vikings' loss to the Lions. By the way, the Lions end the season with 4 straight victories, but it looks like it's the end for number 4.
I don't regret coming back. I enjoyed my experience here. And again, I enjoyed my teammates. It goes without saying, the fans have been absolutely wonderful. And, you know, I said it seems like it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, kind of had the same conversation with you guys. It's been a wonderful ride for me.
So if it is really done, the numbers for Brett Favre speak for themselves. 20 seasons, most touchdowns, completions, attempts, wins, and yes, interceptions than any quarterback in NFL history. But the numbers themselves don't do justice to the player we saw for those 20 seasons. To best describe those moments, you have to hear from the players that lined up with Brett Favre and won against him for those 2 NFL decades.
Brett's kind of like aloha. It's hello, goodbye, it's all one thing.
You know what, Andy? I love you, man.
He's like eternal.
He's going to throw it to the end zone. Touchdown!
Growing up as a kid, you watch him play, but you never realize that you're going to play against him.
I saw how much of a jokester he was. He's a prankster.
Take 2 weeks off, then quit.
They put invisible ink in your gloves and your helmets. The ink only comes out when you sweat.
My biggest memory of Favre, obviously, is my rookie year, going against him in New Orleans in the Super Bowl.
Brett doing a fine job of reading the coverage. Malloy, the safety, could not run with him.
I'll never forget the game when he lost his father.
Brett Favre's father died yesterday afternoon. He has chosen to play.
He was still strong enough and strong-willed enough to go out there and put on that type of performance in a game that's so tough.
Holy moly, this guy is something.
I'll tell you what it is. It's the first one he made to make sure that he was the quarterback that he is today.
It is caught by the wide open, and it is Kitley Taylor.
That one right there started the legacy.
This, I think, is the most telling year for that guy. He's gone through so much adversity, and he's just kept coming.
At some point in time, it has to end. I'm sorry it ended the way it did. Everybody has to move on.
Well, again, if it really is the end, he leaves the game with every significant quarterback record. Most amazing of them, of course, the 297 consecutive starts, a record for any position. Peyton Manning could challenge these marks in years to come, but Favre will not be caught any time soon. Lots more coming on this edition of NFL Primetime. Last year, the Jets got off to a great start in Indy in the AFC Championship game before the Colts sealed the deal late. What to expect in the rematch in the first round. Meanwhile, it was crab cakes and barbecue. Which team did better?
ESPN America is the undisputed heavyweight champion of high definition. Bringing you all your favorite American sports. The strength and power of the NFL. The speed and skill of the NHL. The pageantry of America's game. And the passion and pride of college sports. All in stunning high definition. ESPN America has the most HD content in Europe. To sign up, contact your local service provider.
Brandon Jacobs, at 6'4", 264, is the biggest running back in the NFL. To find out how hard Brandon hits, I'm going to let him plow me over at full force.
3, 2, 1, go!
Brandon ran over me with nearly 2,500 pounds of force. But when a defender moves right toward Brandon, the force is even greater.
Here's the hit. We have just this huge amount of acceleration that occurs all at once.
Brandon hit the dummy with over 4,000 pounds of force. That's like getting run over by a bull. For Sports Science on ESPN, I'm John Brinkus.
Around the Horn, the show of competitive banter.
Welcome to the Apple Store. Don't have an appointment? Come back in 3 weeks.
We're all protected here.
Hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your husband. 4 sports writers who are nowhere to be found when it's time to pick up the tab. We've got 10 topics, but only one winner. Let's do this.
It was HD, heavy-duty victory for the Cowboys.
Why is he doing that? Live and in high def.
Don't miss Around the Horn weekdays on ESPN America.
Primetime rolls on with the Steelers at Cleveland. The Berg wins. They knock up the 2 seed, and Ben Roethlisberger and company wanted to get that drama out of the way early. Early first quarter, Colt McCoy, and that's a tip drill right to Troy Polamalu, makes the diving interception. Merrill, he does it all the time.
No more dangerous defensive player in all of football than Troy Polamalu, and an all-time playmaker.
Had 3 interceptions on the day, and on the very first play after the pick, let's dial it up. Ben Roethlisberger going to their home run hitter, Mike Wallace, 56 yards for the score. Big Ben on the day, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns. Steelers up 7-0. Later in the first, Trent, it appears Mike Wallace trying to prove he belonged in the Pro Bowl.
He is a dangerous weapon, and when the Steelers are rolling, they're getting Mike Wallace the football deep and on the short stuff and letting him roll.
That was a 41-yard gain. He had 3 catches for 105 yards. Polamalu, he times this better than almost anyone. No, he doesn't get the sack of Colt McCoy, but he creates all kind of problems, and it's an incompletion. How does he do it?
And Trent, nobody knows this. He is free to do that if he feels like he can do it. It is not a called play.
Browns would settle for a field goal. Steelers up 31-3. Heath Miller, get out of my way, Abram Elam. Gets his way for a first down. Later on the drive, it's 3rd and goal. Now watch the trickeration here. Antoine Randall on the pitch. Hines Ward is open. Ben Roethlisberger says, look, Hines Ward is open, Trent.
I love this play. Great play design. I like the fact that they stepped on the Browns' throat up 31-3 running this play.
They win 41-9. They get the number 2 seed, and they end Eric Mangini's stay in Cleveland. Bengals, Ravens, not pictured. Raiders, and the Chiefs. Todd Haley electing to play Matt Castle. So the Chiefs O-line did not really help out that decision. It seemed, Trent, as if all day long, Castle was getting hit on every play.
He really was. Oakland Raiders did a great job of exposing some flaws in the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line, getting to Matt Castle all day long, eating up the edges with their pass rush, getting Matt Castle off his spot.
Yeah, Brandon Albert really had a long day. There's another one there. And now it's 17-10. Castle dropping back and feeling the heat. Has to get rid of this one before he's sacked in the end zone for a safety. If that wasn't bad enough, the pressure applied by Tommy Kelly on 3rd down. Castle trying to roll away from some more pressure, throws late over the middle, and that's never good. It's picked off by Michael Huff. All right, later on in the 4th quarter, again, Brandon Albert at left tackle, and he has all kinds of protection issues, Merrill.
Once you give up the corner right there, get your head down, you lean it over with a good pass rusher, and you get swim like that, not going to be good for your QB.
Desmond Bryant gets the sack there. As for the Chiefs' defense, well, they found a way, the Raiders did, to get them committed early. You see them crash in. Tamba Ali, that allows the rookie Jacoby Ford for 12 yards around left end and a first down. And on the next play, Michael Bush finally living up to what we saw in his collegiate days for breaking his leg at Louisville. 26-yard touchdown, Raiders up 17-10. Bush, a $137 on the day. And then off the reverse, Ford. Another time they have confusion on the Chiefs defense, in for the touchdown. The Raiders are up 24-10. We've already shown you one interception by Matt Castle when he was backed up late. Fourth quarter, under 10 minutes ago. He's still in the game, and this time the route is on. He throws it to Stanford route. The Raiders with the pick six, they win 31-10. They don't make the playoffs even though they sweep the AFC West. They go 6-0. So what to watch for Sunday at 1 Eastern? It's the Ravens and Chiefs from Kansas City. Chiefs led the NFL in rushing this season, while the Ravens rank 5th in defending the run. The Ravens are 3-0 in their history in wild card games on the road. So what to make of this matchup?
Well, Trey, when you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, you always talk about, does the team have a staple? Do they have something that is a foundation of their team? And yes, they do. It is their running game, and they got a variety of ways to do that. What the Raiders did a good job of, though, and we often talk about blitzes, we think of it in the passing game, but you can do it in the running game as well. Use linebackers to be violent at the line of scrimmage, and the Raiders were great at that. Now, here's going to be a draw play. You're going to sit over. Quarterback's going to come back. You're going to try to use the strength of the Raiders against them. Get the defensive line upfield. Hopefully freeze those linebackers so we can get to the second level and block it. But they said, no, the Raider linebackers attack downhill. Already got penetration. You got your guard looking at the guy who's got penetration, and you got an unblocked defensive lineman standing in the hole. So you got penetration and somebody's unblocked. Yes, you get the second level on the backside block, but guess what? The penetration and the unblocked defender's too much. The Ravens are going to utilize this kind of stuff. They're going to look at this on tape, and they're going to be violent with their linebackers at the line of scrimmage, trying to disrupt that running game. If they disrupt the running game of the Kansas City Chiefs, it is very difficult for them to throw the football and have that balance they have used to have such a great season.
All right, Haji, thank you. Meanwhile, what to watch for Saturday at 8 Eastern, it's the Jets and Colts from Indianapolis. These two met in the AFC title game last January. The Jets were up 17-6 in the second quarter before being outscored 24-0 the rest of the way. But different year, different teams, Trent Dilfer. What to make of this time go meeting around?
Well, Trey, everybody's going to be talking about that AFC Championship game and how Peyton Manning just torched this New York Jets secondary. When you go back to that film, you're going to see Austin Collie and Dallas Clark played a huge role for the Indianapolis Colts getting open against this Jets secondary. Well, they're no longer there. So the question is, can Jacob Tamme and Blair White do what Austin Collie and Dallas Clark did? Now, if you look at this throw to Austin Collie that got the Colts going 46 yards down the middle, tremendous trust in Austin Collie, what he's going to do. Follows it up with a touchdown in the back of the end zone. Once again, a big trust throw by Peyton Manning, and then Dallas Clark in the red zone, anticipating the throw in the seam and scoring 6 with it. The real question mark here is Peyton Manning. Does he have that same trust and anticipation with Jacob Tamme and Blair White? I don't think so. Now the Jets have an advantage.
We'll see what happens Saturday night in Indianapolis when we continue here on NFL Primetime. What to make of the New Orleans Saints? A week ago, we thought they might be the hottest team in the NFC heading into the postseason. After a loss at home to Tampa, now what? Plus, what once was is again. Green Bay at Philly started the regular season. It's going to start the postseason for both teams.
The flyover could be the most exciting 5 seconds in football.
Woo! Okay. Little flyover.
Looking good. 5 seconds now.
Oh, here they go. I love that. I love that.
That's the flyover right there now.
ESPN America Moments.
Oklahoma with 2 timeouts remaining. Landry Jones is in trouble and throws this one. Deflected, intercepted if he was in the air. He was past the out-of-bounds line, but he may have been in the air. And Sean Lewis, who scored on a 52-yard pick six, may have his second interception of the night. Take a look at this one, Herbie.
An outstanding play by Broderick Brown.
Right now, the NCAA is building over 400,000 future professionals. And most of us will go pro in something other than sports.
Mello, thanks a lot for the headband, man. Appreciate it.
No problem. Oh, it's soaked.
Yeah, it was a tough show. I mispronounced Yesikavicius. Stewart was late getting in a couple of times. If I didn't have that, I couldn't have read the teleprompter, so thank you. Hey, you have any socks that I could borrow? We're gonna run some ball out back.
No.
All right, thanks for the headband. I appreciate it.
SportsCenter, weekdays at 0700 CET on ESPN America.
Primetime rolls on with the Jaguars and Texans. The Jaguars still had hope going into this game, but they needed to win and they needed the Colts to lose. Neither of those things happened, in part because Arian Foster was doing the Arian Foster thing. First quarter, no score. 3rd and 1. The Jags have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 defenders in the box. Linebacker Russell Allen over pursues to the left, and that's the cutback lane Arian Foster is looking for. And he takes it 56 yards on this run. He would eventually score on this drive on a 2-yard run. Merrill, is that your seal of approval?
No question, because it all starts on play side. You got to get flow. You cut off the backside, and you get a seal here and a seal there, and you're in the alley. What did I say? And you get movement on play side if you're going to run right at him. When you get that, you also get another seal here and a seal there, and a touchdown.
180 yards on a double seal of approval as the Texans win, beating the Jaguars 34-17. So what to watch for Sunday at 4:30 Eastern? Pack Eagles from Philly. These teams met week 1. Packers winning by a touchdown. Of course, the Packers brought us Michael Vick as he replaced the injured Kevin Cobb. We all know Aaron Rodgers is going to be the guy for Green Bay. So, Trent, what to make of Rodgers against this Philly defense?
I'll tell you what, this Packers-Eagle matchup, it is going to be a blitz-a-thon. Both teams bringing pressure. But Aaron Rodgers, one guy, can handle the blitz as good as anybody in this league. And he does it because he understands who the information players are. Strong side linebacker, safety, give him information. What information? That backside hole is going to be open on the slant because of the profile of the defense. Aaron Rodgers processes this information. Who's his information players here? The slot defenders, by how they line up. One pressed, one hard inside. So what's here? He goes to his chinny chin chin. I'm going to go a little audible here. Check this out. Goes a quick little look outside. The inside receiver becomes a blocker in the audible system because he knows what pressure he's going to get, and then he looks at different information players. The corners, they're bump and run, they're press. He knows he's got inside pressure. He pins the safety with his eyes, manipulating the safety, and then throws the press man vertical, an absolute dime. Oh, and by the way, he's taking a shot as he's doing it by Justin Tuck. Knows he's coming free with that quick release, gets it out of his hand. Good luck, Philadelphia Eagles, if you are going to give Aaron Rodgers a steady diet of blitz, because he will make you pay.
That's coming up Sunday, NFC Wildcard Weekend. As for Saturday, Saints begin the defense of their Super Bowl title in Seattle. These teams met in Week 11 in New Orleans, with the Saints winning easily. That 15-point loss at the Superdome, it was actually the Seahawks' smallest loss of the season. What to make of New Orleans this time around, Merrill?
You know, Trey, the New Orleans Saints are the defending world champs. And, you know, when they won the Super Bowl, they scored over 500 points. And that's what it's about on offense, scoring points. Now, the Saints' offense hasn't been the same for a couple of reasons. Their vertical cap passing game has not been the same. That's because Drew Brees hasn't been as accurate there, and defenses have defended it better. And they haven't had a consistent runner, so their running game hasn't been all that well. Let me show you the Monday night game a couple weeks ago that shows you the design stuff that is still there. They're still going vertical. Drew Brees stars to the left. That's going to be vital. We got our information guy, Trey, this middle of the field. The strong safety staying deep, also going to throw a route right there in the middle to keep him there. Now look to the backside. Wide receiver will widen it. Widen to the outside, opening that window. Design is perfect for Drew Brees, and he just slightly overthrows it. Last year, he seldom missed these type of throws. Here he misses this one. These big opportunities, though, could materialize, and he could start getting red hot in the playoffs. One of the things they have done to offset their inability to be consistent in their running game is spread people out. Take Reggie Bush, move him to the 3 receiver side. Watch those linebackers shift over. As they shift over, they're going to open up the passing lane. Drew Brees knows that right away. Snaps the ball immediately. Look at the window of opportunity for Drew Brees. And he throws a strike there to Graham, the tight end, who has become one of their matchup guys who moves out wide against the safety against the Atlanta Falcons. The New Orleans Saints are going to continue to run the football. They just haven't been consistent at it. They're going to still try to create designs to get the play vertical. If Drew Brees gets hot there and the running game comes around, then all that's going to matter for the Saints is that the offense starts rolling at the right time in the playoffs.
All right, Merrill, we shall see. That certainly happened a year ago. When we continue, we look back at the final week of the regular season and hand out game balls for Week 17.
ESPN America is kicking off the new year with live coverage of every BCS bowl game. BCS Bowl Week continues tonight. Check ESPNAmerica.com for times in your area.
ESPN America Moments.
They fake it to Dimitri Nance, and the pass is caught by Jennings. Greg Jennings, room to run and into the end zone for the touchdown. 46 yards.
This January on ESPN America, we're ringing in the new year with style. The NFL playoffs shift into high gear, leading to Super Bowl 45. Every BCS bowl game live, including the National Championship, the NHL All-Star Game. Plus, the long road to the Final Four continues with NCAA College Hoops. And the best extreme athletes throw down at the Winter X Games. The brightest stars, the biggest games, all this month, live on ESPN America.
Tonight on ESPN, ESPN's coverage of the BCS Bowls continues from South Florida. Andrew Luck leads Stanford against Tyrod Taylor and Virginia Tech in the Discover Orange Bowl. Coverage begins 8 Eastern tonight on ESPN. Well, here we go. Primetime rolls on with the game balls for Week 17. Merrill Hodge, who gets it?
The NFL rushing champ, Arian Foster, started off the season in a huge way and finished it in a huge way, therefore gets my game ball.
Very nice. Trent Dilfer?
Mine is a unit that stops factor backs and quarterbacks. The Green Bay Packers defense, they flat occupy space in the opponent's mind on offense.
Well, they certainly do. I'm going with a doubleheader. I'm going with the Mike Williams. Mike Williams caught the only score that mattered on the opening drive and had a ridiculously great comeback here. And then Tampa Bay's Mike Williams sets a franchise record with 11 touchdown receptions, and he's only a rookie, ladies and gentlemen. They're building good things in Tampa with Williams, Freeman, LeGarrette Blount, etc., etc., etc. They came up short in the postseason, though. As we go forward to Wild Card Weekend, Merrill, which matchup this Wild Card Weekend intrigues you the most?
Well, Trent hit it a little bit. I think the Philadelphia Eagle and the Green Bay Packer matchup, specifically to the Eagle offense. You know, how do the Eagles go about managing Vic and this offense, and do they help them? Because you're right, Packers are going to be coming all day long based on what they have seen on tape. How do the Eagles handle that?
Might be Jets, Colts, once again, offense. I think the Jets can show up on offense, be balanced, and actually outscore the Colts.
They're going to outscore the Indianapolis Colts.
Always important if you
We will be looking for that Saturday, especially if the Jets want to win. It's important.
I like that.
ESPN America, your home for college football.
College Football Live has made its way to the desert, site of the BCS National Championship game. We'll be here all week long, getting you